You know what I mean? I mean,
Grass is greener.
that's naturally where my brain
The grass is
goes,
green.
you know? Um,
I mean, you would have thought also 20, 30 years ago that somebody like Brad Pitt had it all figured out.
mhm.
Money, fame, looks, women, whatever. The guy, not too long ago got out of rehab.
Yeah.
I mean, he had an alcohol addiction. Yeah. So there was something missing in his life. So it's like there's this thing where that mindset, and somehow we insulate ourselves. This is going back to that challenging thing, allowing yourself to be challenged in your beliefs and your thoughts. Because what ends up happening, you can insulate yourself into believing it's the next thing that's going to satisfy.
Yeah. That's right.
And I think that goes back to ultimately what Goggins was trying to say. It's like you don't challenge yourself enough, physically, mentally, emotionally, relationally, or even, the obvious thing is spiritually, right? I think that if we're not having enough challenging thoughts and beliefs and even physical exertion, I think Goggins is taking it from that standpoint, which I would say there has been many times when I have allowed myself to be pushed physically
Mhm.
has led to a clarity of like, oh my gosh, I am tougher than I think I am.
That's
And not
interesting.
just physically, not just mentally,
Yeah.
right? There's something that we're like, oh man, there's more in the tank than I think. And that's what one of the things he said was there's 75% of you that's still there. That's not unlocked. That's been chained up. And people aren't willing to push to find that out.
Mhm.
Yeah. And most of us think of that in the context of, you're right, what's going to get me to a place where I'm satisfied
Yeah.
or I'm happy or I'm content, versus thinking it, I always hate to say it this way because as Auburn fans, we, can't
Oh,
talk
boy.
about Nick Saban, right?
Yeah.
But the way he preaches, and a lot of, I think, great leaders preach it, it's like, get obsessed with the process, get obsessed with what you enjoy doing.
Not so much the result.
Result. Yeah, you can be a prisoner to outcomes. Most of us are obsessed with the outcome. We want the outcome and then get the outcome. We're like, well, that wasn't that great.
Yeah, I was
And,
gonna say, I mean,
know?
especially for the billionaire types and you brought up
Mhm,
Brad Pitt, made me think about this is
mhm.
those guys is probably more intense because when they get there and they start looking back and they start thinking, wait, I told myself I'd be happy when I reach
Yes.
this point. You know, for guys in their 20s and 30s like us, it's like, now we still kind of drive on that hope of, and so, every day you
Mhm,
kind of wake up still with that, hey, man, striving to get this thing. But once you get
mhm.
that thing and then you look back and say, shoot,
Yeah. Which is
this is
wild.
not
It
it.
just shows we don't have enough older people in our life challenging our thoughts and beliefs. Because if we actually observe that older generation, there was something that came around during our dad's generation called the midlife crisis.
Hmm.
And it wasn't because people lacked money and resources.
Hmm.
There was an internal thing that they were missing.
Yeah.
The midlife crisis is a thing. It came up, it had to deal with spending overspending, whether a house, car, to addiction, to affairs, right? It was all because they were missing something. So they tried the next craziest thing and they end up sabotaging their life, right?
So they're just looking for really anything to fill that void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could, as me and you, as followers of Jesus, could just shout, it's like, well, Jesus is the only place that fills that. But I think for some of our listeners, is like they would say they're believers.
Hmm.
People out there would say that, have that thought, or, oh, I go to church every day, or I actually do profess to be a follower of Jesus. I still have that feeling. And it's like, all right, so what does it mean to actually find Jesus? And I think it comes down to that mindset that Goggins was trying to hit on. It's like, okay, well, what are you putting in your life that you regularly are pushing yourself, challenging yourself, growing, building something that's not about the outcome?
Yeah. It
Mhm.
is interesting because Goggins, I'm not sure, is Goggins spiritual? I'm not familiar enough or a Christian
I
or,
don't think so.
but what he's saying is, so what he's talking about in the clip is like,
Mhm.
well, you need to break through and I guess do more like to expand your mental toughness is kind of his whole MO, right? Um,
Because in that, you'll find a version of yourself you didn't know was there.
right,
The part that you think is missing is in there.
right.
That's what they're not realizing.
So do you agree with that? So seeing it spiritually the way we do
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Christians, it's like, do you agree with what he's saying? It's like, you just got to tap more into your potential. I
Yeah.
guess potentially is what he's saying, right?
I mean, we kinda word it as our identity in Christ, and we kind of put a glossed over Easter Sunday version to it, but I think that is a very deep, exploratory word that is will take a lifetime, if not eternity, to really discover.
What word?
Identity. Our
Identity.
identity in Christ, who He
Yeah.
made us to be, who He designed us. Yeah, that unfortunately, what most of us hate is only gonna come out through pressure. Through That's why I love I use the phrase "men are forged," like, it's like there's something to the hammering, the beating of life that